mentioned in the past he would do things differently. For the last few road projects with regards to laying asphalt, was it done like before or in a new way, being thicker than the one done before? The present way of laying asphalt is thicker than before, and the manner in which the roads are aligned. Empyrean, if this has been viewed by you as stated as different, I invite you to write an official letter to my person indicating which road you were present on, as stated by your person, and that time, and what time, and it will be submitted evidence to be brought forth to the contractor. What is the status of the stoplights at the Prince Bernard Bridge and timeline for completion? The new stoplights are currently being tested and be functional this year. What is the total amount of the top outstanding offenders when it comes to long lease? This information I know for sure is incorrect, so I'll just send it back to the team to verify, and we'll come back to that question in the end. I have the email. Right. Next question. How many building permits did the minister deny so far during his tenure? As to date, I have approved the denial of 4 building permits. Is the PFP promotion of construction pause, is that going to happen in 2025? Also, will there be a selective area where construction will not be allowed and permitted in other areas? Through you, Madam Chair, as stated on several occasions, my position is one of sustainable development. In so doing, if a proposal is not in line with those principles, they will face additional scrutiny overall. Moreover, there are some areas which are extremely vulnerable, and more attention will be given to proposals in those areas. This includes, of course, the coastline and in the hills. MP Waiver asked the question, the minister's vision as it pertains to traffic congestion. Traffic congestion is an interministerial initiative. In recent discussions with my colleague ministers, I presented 6 initiatives to addressing this issue. Some of these initiatives fall under my mandate, while others fall under the purview of the Ministers of Justice, Finance, and TEAD. As Minister of RUMI, my role relates to mostly the provision of sufficient road network and spatial development. In this role, I have begun discussions with the UNOPS, so the same company, the same organization that's building the prison, on a comprehensive plan of approach that will address the matter of congestion, encompassing regulatory as well as infrastructural interventions. The scope looks at immediate solutions such as traffic redirection, increased fees, as well as increasing parking facilities. Parliament will be kept abreast as this project evolves. Is there a plan to restart negotiations concerning Link 6 between Dutch Quarter and South Road area? The realization of Link 6 is one of the identified solutions for improving congestion, but also increasing accessibility and connectivity. As such, once a comprehensive plan is made for addressing congestion, along with sufficient budget, negotiations can restart. MP Darrell T.J. York asked, what is the minister's plans for traffic congestion, particularly on L.B. Scott Road and South Road area? MP, if I can share, allow my previous answer to MP waiver be used for you as well. Through you, Madam Chair, let me know. Yep, okay. What are the top 3 priorities to complete in 2025? In my inaugural address, I set 3 broad areas of focus: conservation and decent living, waste reforms, and drainage and governance. Within these 3 broad areas, my 3 priorities for 2025 are drainage, housing, and zoning. Equally as important, and if I can squeeze in a 4th, which I can say is maybe an umbrella term, is the transformation digitally of our ministry, which will assist all those 3 different elements quite well. What is the criteria for roads selected as it relates to the resurfacing program? The criteria for roads to be repaired or resurfaced is primarily based on the following: how busy the road is, how badly damaged the road is, how important the road is for daily life, how safe the road is, fairness across all areas across St. Martin, to ensure each district sees infrastructure improvements. The criteria are vetted by the departments of RUM and presented prior to final selection. What is the minister's plans when it pertains to flood-prone areas that are very well known? What are the steps towards a master plan for that? The ministry will rely on the existing drainage master plan and look at the increasing capacity for managing stormwaters. This includes increased mechanization of management and working to finalize the new building code. Is the St. James Estate still on the list to be resurfaced? Minister said yes, and overhead lines are a hindrance to anything being done. Can an update be provided? Indeed, the St. James Road is still on the list to be hard surface, pending a meeting with the Community Council. This is being planned. The removal of the low-hanging cables according to a utility company, GB. MP would like a list of all preparatory resolutions that expired in the last 3 years, and if there are any still current. This may be communicated in writing. I'll do very quickly. In the last 3 years, there were only preparatory resolutions for Middle Region and Dutch Quarter, and no other districts, and they expired April 2021. After that, they were not extended, and were not allowed to extend it anymore. So currently, there are none that are current. And for persons who may not know, preparatory resolutions are what government can use to immediately zone an area in anticipation of the regulation that would actually legally zone it. Garbage tax, how would that be collected? The MP heard of a rumor of this being collected via utility bills. Is this rumor true? The MP may know that he's not in favor of collecting via utility bills, but we still have a few clause problem. Through you, Madam Chair, we have been receiving support from VNGI on this matter. We are in the stage of delivering the final report of Phase 2 of this project. One of the deliverables of Phase 2 involves the possible financial framework for waste management on the island. And yes, one of the alternatives that was explored is the establishment of a waste management fee/tax that could be collected via utility bill. The report with their findings and advice will be reviewed in early 2025. So long story short, it is a possibility, but of course, the report will give us more insight into what is best for us.
Question number 2 from a Member of Parliament, York. In the final days, the criteria was abruptly changed and raised by the NRPB. Thus, the local contractors could not meet the new criteria. How were these criteria abruptly changed and raised? Based on what was this bar raised? What kind of investigation was done on this matter? Were there any questions posed by the NRPB as it pertains to any kind of affiliation with anybody that works with the NRPB with a Chinese company? Have these questions been posed? Answer to these questions. Madam Chair, I can repeat my answer given to the previous questions asked on this subject. But I want to be clear that I'm not in agreement with the result of the bidding process. However, with this project already ratified by previous government, change of scope will be challenging. Nevertheless, this matter has my utmost attention, as mentioned in my letter to the NRPB on July 26, 2024. In regards to investigations done, NRPB indicated that as part of the tender and subsequent award process, bidders have to provide documentation on their eligibility, discounts offered, and the beneficial ownership of the relevant company. Furthermore, the World Bank has specific procedures in place for state-owned enterprises and institutions. This documentation is carefully reviewed to ensure compliance with the instructions to the bid and with the applicable procurement regulations of the World Bank. To date, from information submitted by the relevant company under the applicable procedures, there is no indication that the relevant company is either owned or subsidized by a foreign government. There is also no indication that the company is subject to a debarment imposed by the World Bank Group, nor is there any indication that there are any grounds on the applicable laws or procedures to challenge the eligibility of the firm. Question number 3. The opinion was asked of the Prime Minister on how the shareholder representation of government-owned companies and how it should be moving forward, and not what the definition of a shareholder rep is. In my previous response, I did not provide a formal definition of a shareholder or a shareholder representative. Rather, I outlined the current operational framework. The Member of Parliament inquired whether this responsibility would continue to reside with the full Council of Ministers or revert to individual ministers. I clarified that at present it remains under the purview of the full Council of Ministers. However, also noted that there is potentials during the term of this Council of Ministers for a reallocation or adjustment in this distribution of responsibility. For example, by appointing a point of contact for a government-owned company.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah, your social health insurances.
Is it already open to other medical professionals? Will this mean that we will see more of a decrease in medical care abroad and an increase locally? What is the status of the big registratie? Will we get more doctors coming into St. Martin from outside of the Dutch Kingdom? And what impact will that have on the waiting time? Our community is complaining that we have to wait too long before seeing a specialist. The answer to all of those questions as follows. The big registratie project will fall under the country package. This will broaden the opportunity to ensure the needed capacity in the finalizing of the legislation and developing an implementation strategy. The big on its own, unfortunately, may not influence the waiting time, as that is directly related to a global shortage of medical professionals. Regarding non-Dutch educated medical professionals practicing on St. Martin, we currently do allow these professionals to practice. Their permission is granted after an assessment is done of their CV executed by institutions charged with this responsibility in the Netherlands. Those were the clarification questions for MP Ludmila de Wever. Next, MP La Cruz. Referring to the Hilton situation, an employee is getting abused, but not willing to report it. Pay attention to what is going on in your ministry. An employee should feel safe to come to you. This is not the first time that an investigation took place here. Response to MP La Cruz pertaining to that particular comment, or the comment on question. I have taken note of your comments. The inspectorate will report directly to me as minister. In the case of the Hilton situation, I can assure you that it has nothing to do with our department, but it has to do with the relationship with the Hilton organization. based on my interaction with some of the employees. In addition, I hear your concern. It's not the first time that I've heard them. However, I kindly ask you if you have any hard proof to submit these to my person, and I will definitely investigate it further. However, such statements without facts that we can address will make it even more difficult for persons to reach out to the ministry and report any type of abuse. I want to take this time to let the public know as well that I understand as well that there is a bit confusion of when and where you have to go to report certain actions, or in the person's opinion, in the person's opinion, what they may classify as illegal actions in the labor market. However, I spoke about the word anonymous several times. For any employee that does not feel comfortable with regard to going to the labor affairs, you are able to reach out to me in order for us to see what we can do, but also those that wants to make complaints but wants to remain anonymous, they can also reach out to the Inspectorate of VSA, which is located at the Vineyard Building, and I will take the opportunity to give their number. It's 524-7247 or 524-7247. It's also the same number. Oh, okay, it's doubled. Okay, that's a number that they can call, and basically the information given by the individual and the person may remain anonymous, and the inspectorate will then proceed to acting based on the information that they receive. Follow-up question. Can you provide where one can get information to open a facility like the White and Yellow Cross? Yes, I will do so via email, if that is okay with you, MP. Through you, Madam Chair Lady. What is your sentiments on the syntax? What you refer to as a syntax, I agree that such a levy is of importance, and this should be a matter of further discussion for the entire government apparatus. This is one of many income-generating avenues that should be seriously explored and tackled from a multi-ministerial approach. That would be it for MP La Cruz. MP York. I did not get your opinion on the income-generating idea. First of all, my apologies if my initial answers were not clear. Further assessment will have to be done concerning this matter before a decision like this can be made because of far-reaching potential consequences to public health. I miss your opinion on digitalization. I have met with the department head on a number of CPS urgent matters, of which this was also included. As Minister of VSA, I am in favor of this, and I will work towards it.
The gist of what I was saying. The point is, once an employee feels That way, that means that government has a problem. I'm not saying that it is happening. I'm not saying that it happened. I'm not saying that a civil servant is doing it. But the mere point that they don't feel safe enough to come to the ministry, something is wrong. Okay? So maybe it's that it's in the open. Maybe it's, like you just mentioned that, they could contact with a phone number. It's the same thing with the click line within the Ministry of Justice. If you feel threatened one way or the other, there is a phone number, whatever, you could call anonymously, where then the ministry would look into the situation. And that is important, that people feel safe enough to come to you as the Minister of VSR. That is the point, And again, we need to remember, you said, if there's something that I know, through you, Madam Chair Lady, but you know, Minister, that we met with the group the same day you met with them. So we are fully aware, a group of us, also members from your party, MPs from your party, we are fully aware of the whole situation. That is why I offered you that advice. Okay? Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurances.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
First time on the island. I want to thank the Barbados Fire Department for a great effort to save us and the community. My good friend Mama Nikki was the one that brought our attention that there was smoke in the car. Then we realized the fire. The driver Richard was absolutely fantastic. Got us out of the car, got us to safety. In minutes,
There was fire. He tried everything. He tried the extinguisher to try to get it out.
The fire, the truck blew up and was huge flames and fire. So I want to thank my good friends from Barbados for all the hospitality, the attention. Everything worked out well. So now we have a story to tell at home.
We got a call for a car fire in the Life of Barbados from boat area. When we arrived on scene, we saw one ZN taxi, fully alight. There were no occupants inside of the vehicle. We utilized 2 Volkswagen jets from water tender that extinguished the fire. No persons were injured, and the scene would have been handed over to the police where they would further do their investigations.